Hey everyone, this is Jax again from the Popcorn Review Podcast, and today we're going to be talking about AEW Dynamite. This is going to be my episode 5. So this was Wednesday Dynamite here. It started off with Kenny Omega versus I think it was Blake Christian, if I'm not mistaken. Looks like he's part of the Ring of Honor brand. Again, not don't really watch Ring of Honor. I know they bought it later on after they were about 3 years in, if I'm not mistaken. So they have been doing Ring of Honor, but I personally don't watch Ring of Honor. This guy put up a pretty good match with Kenny. We all knew Kenny was going to win. Hit him with the one-winged angel at the end. Kind of said at the end that he was going to Tony Khan almost didn't allow him to go out there and have this match, that he was going to win it pretty easily, pretty fast, and it was a decent match. Um, again, don't know who Blake Christian is. This was kind of just to show Kenny being a strong champion. After that match there, you did have Speedball come out. They kind of exchanged words. Speedball was giving him his flowers, saying, "Hey, I idolize you. You're a big inspiration to me." And Kenny pretty much told the fans, like, "Hey, I know you guys may not know who this is, but I know who he is from New Japan. We've wrestled in the past. Great guy. Can't wait to get in the ring with him." As they were, exchanging words back and forth, Ricochet kind of pops up on the screen, and in his wedding attire, apparently he's getting married to Samantha. He pretty much says that he's gonna walk out of Dynasty with the girl and with the title. It would be kind of nice to see Ricochet win the title, to be honest with you. Kind of put him up there. Left WWE for a reason, came here, wins the title, and that kind of could make Kenny's escape to go for the world title. It would be kind of nice to see Kenny versus Swerve or Kenny versus Mox. I know we've seen that before with Kenny and Mox, but we can see Kenny and Swerve go at it. So it would be kind of nice, but I don't think they're going to have Kenny lose anytime soon. Kenny is a big draw for AEW. You clearly see the storylines aren't there for the guys when he's not there. So definitely see this being something to build on. Still think Ricochet should get a chance. Not sure what title he'll get in the future. But again, pretty good segment, pretty good match there with Kenny and Blake Christian. Jericho kind of had a promo that he was upset with the Learning Tree group he has there, pretty much calling out, the Redwood and the Brian Keith there, saying that you guys aren't doing what you're supposed to be doing, that we should be beating people all because, he lost the mask from Gravity, even though he stole the mask from Gravity first. Bandito just took it back pretty much for his brother. Um, Pretty much gets under the skin there. The Redwood kind of looks like he's upset. I see him turning on Chris Jericho in the future, but that's me. Very upset. You see that you have later on MJF comes out, kind of pull or not pulls, but calls out MVP. They start talking, and right before MJF says, "I'm in," Hurt Business music hits again. Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin come to the ring. Bobby Lashley kind of gets in the way, says, "Where's the card?" Takes it and rips it up. Just like I said last time, guys, I didn't see this sitting well with Bobby Lashley. If anybody's gonna go for the world title in that group, should be Bobby Lashley. He's been there, not in AEW, but he's been there for a long time in the wrestling world. Definitely makes sense to have Bobby Lashley go for the title in that group. Doesn't make sense to them to be the tag team, and then you have MJF come in and kind of weasel his way into a world title shot. Definitely didn't make sense for me. But like I said, I saw Bobby Lashley having an issue. You see MJF leave, kind of upset. You later see the three of the guys from the Hurt Business talking like, hey, this is us. Everybody, talks junk about MJF, talks shit about MJF. He's not a good guy. We don't want him in this group. This is the three of us, and that's it. Pretty much squashing that. MJF is not going to be part of the Hurt Business, or sorry, the Hurt Syndicate. Said it wrong for a while. The Hurt Syndicate there. But again, I saw that coming. They were going to take that, or Bobby Lashley was going to have a problem with the Hurt Syndicate bringing in MJF. I definitely saw that being an issue. Um, right after that, MJF, like I mentioned, starts walking out. You see Brian Keith and the Redwood kind of address the Hurt Syndicate in the ring. And man, did MVP tear into those boys. Like, Brian Keith is not a great talker. I feel like the Redwood can be. Um, but man, he was pretty much, hey man, to Brian Keith, like, stop talking, stop letting your bitch talk, you talk. And he pretty much just shit on those guys. You saw it in the Redwood's face, how he seemed upset. And if not, he played the part very well because he clearly looked upset when, MVP was just talking shit and talking down to him. Even when he tried to say, "Oh no, stop being their bitch," he was like, "No, we clearly know who the bitch is in this group, and it's you guys." So he definitely put him out there, pretty much shut him down, put him in his place. Made them look really weak on the mic, very weak on the mic, to be honest with you. And then even later on, when they had the promo in the back talking about, "Now we don't want MJF in here," they were only worrying about the Redwood. They weren't worrying about Brian Keith. They clearly said that we good on the Redwood situation. Like, they're clearly dismissing Brian Keith. They're pretty much saying that they only got to worry about one guy in that group. So when those four guys go for the tag titles, they're only going to be worrying about the Redwood there. They're not going to be worrying about Brian Keith, the bounty hunter. They're pretty much saying he's just there, for to get hurt. Pretty much, that's all he's there for. And the Redwood has a point. He never got a rematch for his tag title. Sting won the title with Darby Allin and kind of rolled off into the sunset and relinquished those titles. He never got a rematch, so it makes sense why he's demanding a rematch. To be honest with you, he should have gotten one, never got it. See that happening. But again, MVP completely destroyed these guys on the mic. I'd be surprised if they have another segment with the four of them or the five of them later on in the future, because he just did them dirty. Like, dirty, dirty, dirty. They looked bad. They looked really bad in that segment. I'd be surprised if they allow that to happen again, but we'll see how AEW plays this out. Another match that was there later on in the day was the Brody King versus Kyle Fletcher. This was actually a decent match. I'm gonna say though, at some point Brody King is gonna get upset with him losing all the time. You're showing him as this dominant force, but he's always taking losses. At some point, he's gonna do the same thing that happened with his partner or his friend, leaving, possibly going to WWE. Don't know if Brody King would ever go to WWE, but this guy, for being as big as he is, he can wrestle his ass off. Um, they did have a great match, the two of them. Kyle Fletcher and Brody King had an awesome match for their size. For their size difference, they definitely showed with the speed and agility in this match. Hits were crazy. Again, great match between the two of these guys. If you haven't seen it, try to watch it. I think you can watch the replay now on Max. So definitely watch that, guys. But again, someone, from the Don Callis family interferes. Then they pretty much beat down Brody King. Uh, you see later on, Powerhouse Hobbs comes in, starts helping him out. Then you see Powerhouse Hobbs and what's his name, Mark Davis there, and all you hear the fans just saying "meat" every time they hit each other. Big E definitely does that with WWE, saying he likes to see meat on meat action with big guys, and that's definitely what AEW gave the fans. I mean, every time they were hitting each other, clotheslines, whatever the case is, they were just saying "meat, meat, meat." So good match. Powerhouse Hobbs looks strong in this match. Mark Davis looks strong in this match as well, to be honest with you. I still feel like he's trying to find his place in the Don Callis family, even though he's there and they show him. you can still see Kyle Fletcher kind of like punking him around, even though he's like almost like the little brother out of the group. Like, come on, go ahead, do this. And he kind of hesitates still to get in there and like hurt somebody or hit somebody. So he's still trying to find his place there. Um, there was a couple moments in that match with Hobbs and Mark Davis there that looked a little awkward. These guys are a lot bigger than guys they're used to wrestling, so you can tell that some of those bumps weren't as good as they usually are. Um, Especially with that spine buster, looks like Davis kind of landed on his one side there, so it wasn't a flat surface when he landed. It was kind of on the side on his hip. Still a good match. Definitely want to see Hobbs do something in the future. He was part of a few different groups, the Don Callis family. He was also part of Team Taz. Moxley brought him in, really not doing nothing with him. I still feel like he should get a shot, even this with a tag team possibly. There's a lot of titles in AEW, even Ring of Honor. You can have Hobbs go over Ring of Honor and possibly be the champion over there. He's a big dominant force. Definitely see him doing something in the future. Hopefully they do it before his contract expires. But I definitely see Will Hobbs doing something in the future with AEW. Hopefully he does get a singles run. If not, make that man a tag team champion with somebody and just be like two towers of destruction and just destroying people. Um, you did have a segment there with FTR and Adam Copeland, or Cope, what they're calling him. You definitely see that there's some fighting amongst them or arguing amongst them, and you have like Cash in the middle. Um, Kind of like separating the two there. I will say that I do see at some point them breaking up, or you might see not Edge, I'm sorry, Copeland versus Dax in the future. Definitely see that happen because he's kind of blaming Copeland, saying like, we took our eye off the ball to help you win to be the champion, and you couldn't handle it. You couldn't hack it the last couple of weeks that you had a shot. Now it's our turn to worry about the tag titles, and that's what we're gonna do. And you kind of saw like Cash, like, hold on, I still feel like rated FTR could still do something. I want to possibly go after the trios titles again and see how that plays out. I do see this going the wrong way. They're gonna break up, whether it's FTR breaks up or Edge breaks away from them, but something's definitely gonna happen that they're not gonna win the trios title. I'll be very surprised if they win the trios title, to be honest with you. I feel like the Death Riders are gonna pull that off, even though they're really not showing me much with the Death Riders. Again, I'm not a fan of that group. Um, but I definitely see that, breaking down some point, rated FTR, not going, even during that segment, they were kind of awkward with each other. You got the one guy in the middle, like, hey, no, guys, you guys are both my best friends. The other two, like, screw you. We'll do what we got to do, but, I'm sorry, or whatever the case was. But it looked like he really didn't mean it. Um, we'll see how that plays out. Again, they're going to be wrestling for the trios title versus the Death Riders. Don't see them winning that match. That's probably going to show them break apart. You know, you're going to see Cope go one way, FTR go the other. Hopefully, they don't break up FTR. Maybe this is how they'll turn heel again. Yeah, a lot of people like these guys, but they were better as heels. So we'll see what AEW has in store for their story. Swerve calls out John Moxley. Um, Kind of a boring segment, to be honest with you. Feel like a lot of their promos were kind of like flat. The fans weren't cheering for him, for both of them, to be honest with you. I felt like Swerve was flat. Moxley lately has been going on some rants that you don't know what the hell he's talking about. So again, whatever Death Riders are doing with Moxley, fix it, because y'all killing it. Y'all killing it in the wrong way, not killing it good, killing it in the wrong way. Um, it's really weird. I still hope Swerve wins, to be honest with you. Um, I feel like a lot of people want Swerve to win. A lot of people just want the strap or the title off of Moxley. He's not doing nothing there. It's very boring. Um, Moxley was kind of like setting up a trap. He had Claudio behind Swerve's guy there, and you had like he was kind of getting cornered up against the rope, looking back at his guy, looking at Claudio, and then you see Marina Shafir come out. She had like a crowbar, if I'm not mistaken. And then right before she jumps in, you hear Swerve said, "Oh, you thought I didn't have a plan?" You see Willow jump up with like a lead pipe or a pipe or something to that effect. And it kind of like stands her off. So then Moxley and his guys kind of like, nah, we're good. We're not going to do nothing here because you kind of stopped him from doing his master plan, if anything. Um, then you see like Shafir kind of get upset later on. She throws the crowbar down, and before they jump the guardrail to leave, she turns around and pulls Willow out and start brawling. So two girls are definitely going to get into it. Maybe they'll get into Dynasty. Not really sure. It could be just another Saturday night match or Wednesday night match. Doesn't have to technically be pay-per-view, but those two girls are definitely going to get into it. You've seen Shafir kind of get into Willow's face a few times, so she's just trying to get back on her. Will be a good match. Willow's been actually growing as a wrestler. Shafir, haven't seen her do anything lately. She's kind of been like that stoic bodyguard of Moxley, if anything. And a lot of guys don't want to hit girls, so that's kind of that whole scenario there. So he brought Willow out. Willow kind of stopped that, squashed anything before it happened. Definitely makes a lot of sense. Um, Moxley kind of like goes off and they kind of just talk shit about they're gonna wrestle at see you at Dynasty, and you better be willing to kill me to get this title, because if not, you're not gonna hack it. Like, you're not gonna do it if you can't be the most dangerous man in AEW. He is definitely Swerve is definitely our face in this thing, even though he's kind of like an anti-hero the way he thinks. Like, he's willing to murder you to get the title, but he's still a good guy in everybody's. With Prince Nana, he's a good guy in everybody's mind. Swerve's house. Um, Gonna be a good match at Dynasty. Hope Moxley loses, but again, we'll see how AEW, what cards they have there, how they're gonna play that out. I'll also say that you have later on in the day you had Thunder Rosa and Timeless Tony Storm versus Penelope Ford and Megan Bain. You kind of saw Thunder Rosa saying, "Hey, I don't know if I can trust you," and she was like, "Yeah, we've done things in the past, but we got to get over it," kind of thing. And then, Thunder Rosa revealed her shirt saying that their team was called, I think it was like Thunderstorm. And out of nowhere, like I said, the way Tony Storm talks, she's so proper that she gets away with it. Oh, our team is the Thunder Tits, and that's how they just laughed it off, and that's what their team was called, even though she had the shirt printed out. Their team is called the Thunder Tits. Um, Went into the ring. They had their match. Everybody came in. Um, it's kind of the typical tag team. You have the two people who are going to face each other for the title, and you have the other two that are there that are wanting helping out their partner. Penelope Ford, um, she was pretty much the one getting beat down from the other girls from Thunder Tits. And then you saw it was vice versa. Thunder Rosa was the one getting beat down by Penelope Ford and Megan Bain. They definitely made Megan Bain look strong here. At the end of the match, when they won it, you kind of saw Timeless Tony Storm's face like, what the hell did I just get into? They're definitely making her look strong. The week before last, or last week rather, um, she kind of ate her up on the mic, talking down to her. Oh, she can't talk, she can't do this, she can't do that, but she can wrestle. So they're definitely showing her as a strong competitor. Not sure if she's gonna win it this early, unless Tony Storm has to do like some type of movie or TV show, or she's going out somewhere else. Um, don't know if they're going to make Megan Bain the champion that fast. It'd be kind of odd, to be honest with you, if they do. I feel like there's a lot of other people that can. Thunder Rosa, like she said, she never lost her title, so she should definitely get another opportunity there. You have Chris Stanletter that they've been squashing the last couple weeks, but she too can be a world champion. You have Willow that could be a world champion. She demonstrated that by being the TNT champion, and I think the woman's strong for New Japan. So she definitely showed that she could be a champion. Um, you also have Britt Baker. I'm not sure how her contract is going on. I know there's a rumor going around that her and Tony Khan aren't getting along, but she's a big part of the AEW women's roster. They should bring her back. They did bring her back for momentarily to wrestle Mercedes Monet. After that, we haven't heard from her, so we'll see how that goes. But they do have a lot of women in the AEW roster that can and should get an opportunity for that title before a newcomer. Um, that's just my opinion again, guys. So hopefully you guys take it. Other than that, guys, great show for AEW. Again, Timeless Tony Storm. Every time she talks lately, she's been making me laugh. Like, I'm sitting there watching a wrestling show, and just the way she talks and presents herself is just funny as hell. So watch it, guys. Again, if you haven't watched it live, you can watch it on Max right now. If not, guys, this is your boy Jax from the Popcorn Review Podcast.